Ariana Newhouse, a content marketer here at The Shelf, and today we're going to talk about the difference between influencer and traditional marketing. In the broadest strokes, influencer marketing is online and traditional marketing is offline, but in today's world, it's not that cut and dry. So we're going to dive into the nuance of how influencer marketing techniques can be used in traditional marketing channels and vice versa, so that you can hopefully determine which is the best for your campaign. Let's start with traditional marketing. Traditional marketing is traditionally out of home sort of advertisement that is considered outbound. So it takes the consumer out of their regularly scheduled programming or routine. So think TV commercials, billboards, print ads, out of home ads, things like that. So it's outbound and then it takes you out of your experience, right? So you're watching an episode of your favorite TV show and there's an ad break and that commercial is traditional advertising. It takes you out of the show. Or you're driving on your way to work or your way home and you see a billboard on the side of the road that takes you out of that driving experience and into that advertising moment. Being outbound is not necessarily a bad thing. Just because it takes you out of that experience does not mean that it is negative by any means. If you're watching your favorite show and a commercial comes on, you're more willing to sit through that commercial to make sure you don't miss it when your show comes back on. And if there's a billboard that's on your commute to work, you can't really not take your commute to work. You're going to be there, you're going to see it. So it is a great way to infuse advertising or branding into the consumer's daily routines or normal life. These days, traditional marketing is not all billboards and newspaper ads. Obviously, we live in a highly digital world, and there are ways to infuse traditional marketing techniques into the digital sphere. So those can look like banner ads on websites. These are kind of parroting the newspaper ads of old. These can look like commercials that are built for YouTube, those like pre-roll YouTube commercials, or that can be repurposed in a vertical format for social media sites. So it's still, a traditional commercial. It's still a traditional style print ad, but it's on those digital channels. Another distinct feature of traditional marketing is breadth. So as we'll talk about in influence marketing in a minute, that can be very niche, very targeted. When we're doing traditional marketing, generally you're going to be casting a much wider net. So if you've got a diverse audience, if you're targeting a variety of demographics, traditional marketing can do a great job of making sure you get a little bit into each of those demographics. All right, on that note, what is influencer marketing? Influencer marketing is new, fresh, it's totally digitally native, and it basically takes word of mouth advertising to a whole new leverageable level. So influencer marketing casts, you guessed it, influencers into digital ads. These can take a variety of forms, but essentially these influencers have their own audiences that brands then leverage because they overlap with their target audience. This can make influencer marketing great for niche targeting because you can get super, super bespoke and highly specific about the people that you want to target. Influencer marketing is also going to work better on a smaller scale because it's cheaper, it's a little scrappier, and you can work with nano or micro influencers who have followings ranging from less than 1,000 to 10,000 people. So that's obviously a much more condensed group than, say, like a television ad spot. That is not to say that influence marketing cannot cast a wide net. You think of the Kardashians, they've got a little bit of both of that traditional and influencer flavor, but they've got huge, huge followings that can also rival sort of that traditional breadth. One major distinction between traditional and influencer marketing is that influencer marketing is inbound. So whereas we talked about traditional marketing being outbound, it takes the consumer out of an experience that they're already engaging in their daily life. Influencer marketing is inbound in that it is adding an experience. So influencer marketing has to be highly engaging. It has to be an experience in itself because it's additive rather than detractive or interruptive. This really puts the consumer in the driver's seat. So whereas with traditional forms of advertising, you're watching your favorite show and you just kind of have to sit through the commercial in order to see what happens next, like what happens after the climax. In influencer marketing and inbound marketing, especially on these digital channels, on these social media sites, the consumer is really in the driver's seat. Swiping past that out is only a thumb flick away, and you're not going to miss anything. You're not going to miss the next scene in your favorite show because the scrolling is the activity in itself. So consumers are very selective in the influencers that they follow, and they tend to follow influencers whose content they like, whether it is sponsored or not. So these influencers really function as like a trusted resource, almost, a parasocial relationship, a friendship. This just means that influencer ads have to be highly engaging and super, super entertaining to be effective. And just to get into the nitty gritty, these influencer marketing tactics are going to include any sort of social media ad in which the influencer is creating the content. So that can be a super trendy, transition heavy TikTok video, or it can be, a much more professional style LinkedIn post or blog. While there are some key distinctions between influencer and traditional marketing, in today's digital landscape, there's a lot of overlap. There are definitely ways to incorporate both traditional and influencer tactics and strategies within the same campaign even. So I hope this cleared things up for you in terms of what exactly is what. If you would like assistance in coming up with your own campaign, we are partial to influencer marketing here at the Shelf, but we'll help out with anything that you need. You can go ahead and schedule a strategy call down below. I really hope this video was helpful. If you've got any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below, and look out for more of our influencer versus traditional marketing content, because there's going to be more videos on that. And until next time, happy marketing.